The Dick Cavett Show. Tonight with special guests, John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
I guess you all know that John Lennon, together with the three other fellows named McCartney and Harrison and Starr, were responsible for becoming, I guess, the most written about, most listened to, most imitated musical group of the 60s. And for about 8 years, they were leaders in the musical world. And not only that, but I probably affected what a decade of young people looked like and thought about and dreamed of. And they achieved the absolute pinnacles of success. They were even honored by the Queen, an honor which they eventually returned, I believe. I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise to anyone that the Beatles are no longer together. In recent months, John Lennon John has sort of surfaced in the underground press, where he gave a long interview in Rolling Stone magazine, in which he talked with a great deal of candor and some bitterness, I suppose, about the old days. And his wife, Yoko Ono, is maybe one of the most controversial ladies since the Duchess of Windsor. Wally Simpson kept the Duke from becoming the king. Tonight they are, however, quite above ground, and I'm very pleased to welcome them here. Will you welcome, please, John Ono Lennon and Yoko Ono Lennon. How are you?
Nervous, but okay, thank you.
Are you really?
Yes.
Now,
you?
is that a little bit?
Yeah.
But it isn't as if we've never met, because we did meet once.
We did meet in a dingy hotel room.
Right. So you're Jack Lemmon.
Yes. And you're Fred Astaire. Or is it Orson Welles?
I'm not Fred Astaire. Yoko, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good, okay. Is there anything that you want to know about me to start off with that we could, just to sort of get the...
What do you do for a living?
To get the... Actually, this is my profession.
I know you lived here.
Yeah, I practically do. I hardly ever get out of here. The chair collapses into a bed. And,
it must be hard.
It's a bad... Do you have my kind of show
in England?
All over the world? I mean,
they're
been
not
everywhere.
quite as good, you know.
They what?
They're not quite as good in England at repartee, you know.
Why is this?
Well, they're more inhibited, that's all.
The
you know, they don't have anybody that would sort of freak out a little.
Yeah.
Unless Jerry Rubin comes on, you know.
Oh, yeah. Rubin came over and disrupted a show done by, I can never think of the guy's name.
David Dost?
David Drost, yes.
It was very exciting.
Yeah, it was a very exciting show, actually.
What actually happened? They came in and broke up the studio?
They broke up the studio, and David ended up in the audience to show that he wasn't with the young people, you know, which shows where he is at, really.
Out there.
Nothing personal, David, wherever you are, red light.
You know, I had a terrible feeling that my hair was going to be longer than yours. It's a funny thing, because I met you the other day. The recent pictures I'd seen of both of you, yours is extremely long, Yoko, and yours, John, was very long. And of course, people going around saying, I can't tell which one is which and all. You know,
yes.
that sort of
witticism. Last year I cut mine. We both cut it right off down to about 1/4 of an inch, 69 or 70, I can't remember, because I just suddenly realised it wasn't functional, you know, to have it. When I had it down here, you just have to keep washing it and combing it. You know.
Yeah.
So then I chopped it all off, and then it just grew a bit, and then I just let it grow to this length.
What's your favorite length, Yoko? Are you at it right now?
Well, it depends, you know. We like change, and we just don't want to stick to one.
Who wants the same old haircut every day, you know?
No.
That's
have a different one every few months, you know?
That's my favorite. Did you save the hair
by
any chance?
One time we cut it, we gave it to some Michael Malik, who was running a sort of black house in London, which wasn't exactly a Black Panther thing, but I think it was something to do with it. And they were just having a community centre in London, and we sort of symbolically gave it them. They were going to auction it off at wherever you auction hair off, you know.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
That big place in London, I can't remember the name.
Sotheby's?
Yeah, that's it. It never happened though, but it was a symbolic gesture, really.
So you don't.
Solidarity. Dim.
And that hair today then is missing.
Gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Silly, isn't it? Oh, you're going to do this all the time.
We spent this much time.
It's gone already.
Yoko, do you have fun when you're over here in this country?
Oh, yes, very much. Because after all, this is my second hometown.
Yeah.
She lived here for 10 years.
People are surprised. They often say she speaks very good English. But you've been here a lot.
But some people ask me, well, can you speak Japanese? And then I get very offended, you know, because I am Japanese.
Yeah.
You know.
Now you've offended her, haven't you?
Get me out of this, John.
Well, funny thing happened on the way in tonight.
It never has to me.
Nor me.
Not once in my life.
Nothing happened.
You want to tell
whatsoever.
him about that story, you know, whenever they talk to us and then they're not listening and then you start about that elephant.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that.
I suppose you get it too. When
Private
people
joke
meet you,
between us,
you know, like in a restaurant or anywhere, when you're trying to order something, you find that they're so struck by, oh, is it really you, that they don't really hear your order, you know. So when I'm talking to them, I'm saying, I'd like a steak, medium, and 2 elephants came and a policeman bit my head off and a cup of tea, please. And they're saying, yes, thank you.
It really is like that.
Because they're not listening, you know. Probably half of them aren't listening now, which is a good thing, I suppose.
That's a terrible feeling,
Yeah.
to think that they're never listening at all.
Well, it's surreal, you know. I don't mind that.
Have you ever had elephant actually brought to you by someone who was listening?
And bit the policeman's head off, quite often, yes.
Really?
It's an old Anglo custom, you know.
I'll believe anything. You like being over here, I gather. I have had some English guests on. What do you think of yourself as English, first of all? Let's establish that.
Well, sometimes, I mean, if you ask talking about being over here or being over there, then
Over
I think,
here.
well, I'm from over there, you know.
Yeah.
But I normally think in terms of, I suppose I think in cliques and things like other people, like musicians and or long hairs and or under 30, over 30, etc., etc. And being married to a Hawaiian, it makes you sort of more international, you know? Sorry about that.
So we sort of
Must be a
treat
mistake
each
in my
other,
notes.
you
Well,
know?
people think of us as, especially in England, not so much here, we get a bit more respect in America as artists, but back home, I think it's the case for all artists, back home it's a bit like, I'm the man that won the pools and lucky guy who had a spot of luck and married a Hawaiian actress, you know, and which isn't true, really. Do you get it?
We treat each other because I'm from Japan and he's from England, so somehow we found out that we're sort of passionately patriotic sometimes, you know, and we get, well, no, I mean, that's Japanese made, or no, I mean, you know, English are the first ones to
I mean,
do
we
this
invented
and all
radar
that,
and
you know.
penicillin, you know. But it's a fan turning into a hard hat, you see, when we start discussing, you know, well, we're both islands, and we're both little, and we both did this, and we both did that. And we find ourselves turning quite fascist discussing it.
You do.
Made in Hong Kong and all that.
Yeah. And you do jokes with each other, and you kid her about...
Always laughing, Dick.
Are you? Give you in and laugh?
After
No.
this...
I mean, would you stoop to, you know, Pearl Harbor jokes and that
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
thing?
I do all that, yeah. I saw speak English, so English
They're
pig.
a kabuki thing.
Oh yeah, there's a
You know
kabuki
about
theatre in
kabuki,
Japan,
don't
and they have
I
a
know.
massive stage, and on stage they have the musicians with them, and
You
all
see
the
it
men
only
play the
once,
parts,
though,
you see,
yes.
and all the men play the women's part. They go, so that's kabuki, you see. I learned it after only one sitting.
It's very good.
Even
You-
Japanese,
do you know what it
you
is?
They start to laugh when he does that, because it really is Japanese when he does that. I mean, kabuki, you know.
Only our hip
Very
nips will
kabuki.
notice how funny it is, actually.
There are 2 of them in Utah breaking up right now.
And I've seen one on TV with yellow glasses, and he calls himself the hip nip. And he pretended to be Italian in the war, I
Just
remember.
laughing.
Is
funny, though.
Mr. Lennon putting me on?
I don't know.
伊藤さんに面会したのですか?
Ah!
Was sind die 3 besten Dinge von der ganzen Welt?
Yo hablo poquito español.
¿Qué pasa?
Whose move is it? We have a brief message of interest from people of various creeds and colors, and we will return.